sent in 24,000 bags of 25 kg rice to the state. Before the rice even came in, the announcement alone, His Excellency the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Momayano Basino, doubled the number. What is your take? Your president, what's your take on that?
Yes, that is a good thing to do, even though having those rice coming to the state, one would say it's a nice thing to have it from the president, and also having the one doubled by the governor. But if you look at the space of things around in the economy today, do we really need this rise? Even though it's a good thing, we really appreciate the effort of the governor, what is doing in the state, and that of the president. But is that what we need in a time like this? That's the question.
Well, Madam, you are the special assistant to the governor of media, and I know you guys have been doing a whole lot of job in getting that information across to the people. In also like manner, about 4,940 bags of rice, Gary, were spread to about 247 villages in Okanafo Federal Constituency, which I know you have a little bit of inclination.
Somehow related
yes,
close,
yes. I was saying, come on, I mean, it happened in your state. This is your state, yeah. So everything that is newsworthy in your state should have passed through your ear. Now, what's your take on this distribution of stable food to the people, particularly with the doubling of the number sent by the federal government to Nigeria by His Excellency the Governor of Akwa Ibom State?
First, I think on this program last week, I did say that poverty, hunger, cannot be completely eradicated. You can always reduce it to the barest minimum. And so from time to time, government can intervene, government can release some, maybe palliate, government can release incentives, to see how to cushion the hardship on the people. We are aware of the fact that the removal of the fuel subsidy since May 29th last year by Mr. President, coupled with other economic policies like the floating of the naira, has somehow put the nation, sometimes we're having a serious economic imbalances. A lot of times people are complaining of hardship and all of that. So what government has done is that as a result of that removal, which has triggered inflation, triggered so many other factors, economic factors, the federal government has had resolve to intervene. Part of that, the resolve was the issue of the release of the CNG buses, and then initially we had the release of grains. We also had the distribution of rice, palliatives as in that time. So this is an offshoot of that, to see how government can at least, temporarily, just intervene and ease up the hardship on people. And so the state government has keyed into that. Also having it in the back of our minds that we have the free the bulk purchase agency of the state government, which is ongoing. The idea was to reach the poorest of the poor and those who are on the social register, to see how government can provide basic amenities, feeding what I call it staple foods, food items, rice, beans, and gari at least. So it's commendable. While government is, why some persons might claim to say that government shouldn't, that's not a solution. That itself cannot be a solution. It is just, like I said, if you use the word palliative, it is just cushion the effect. Ultimately, we need to, commend government for that.
Okay. Back to you, President. The fuel subsidy removal, as it were, it's what basically has been picked for what is happening right now economically in Nigeria, and by extension, you can't take out Akwa Ibom State from it. Do you see a situation or a scenario where the fuel price will ever be reviewed downwards?
Yes, but before coming into that, just like what my brother have said, government will always have good things in mind for the citizens, but the lines where onto these things will arrive and they go down. In fact, getting into the main people that should grab this thing are always the problem. Yes, the president have sent. Yes, the governor have doubled it for the masses, for the people to enjoy, at least as a palliative measure. But the people that will be in charge of the distribution of these things are always the problem. You and I were in this state where the first batch came. You know what happens with the chiefs in the villages. You know what happens to the people, the people that were supposed to share these things to the people. So what is our faith that when this thing gets down to those villages, they will properly be shared to the people at least that can carry somebody or a family?
But President, hold it there. Let's get it straightforward so that people listening can take advantage of what you're talking about, because this is information you're giving out there. This administration over time, with the bulk purchase agency and the social register, I don't quite remember people actually complaining about not having access to this issue, to this.
No, the bulk purchase has no problem, because the only people that benefit from it are the people whose names are in the register.
Yes.
But I'm talking about the palliative sent in by the government.
Madam, I'll hold your thought. Is the palliatives meant for virtually everybody or the vulnerable?
It is meant for the vulnerable. I want to correct the impression. We had. I've always been an advocate of statistics, of numbers, of data, because government can only plan interventions with appropriate data.
That's correct.
And one of the things you usually will have over the years are situations whereby government will send out certain incentives, and then it doesn't get down to the real beneficiaries or people who should intervene or benefit from that. But what this government did, which is exceptional, I'm talking about Akwa Ibom, is that we had the governor mandate all ward PAs to go back and look at the social registers. I'm aware of that meeting. The meeting was convened. All social registers of respective wards will be released to the ward PAs for you to go and check. There were instances where you find names that you can't even that don't even relate with that that location. So we had that that platform was enough for us to capture more people into the what I call it, the social register, and then ultimately to ensure that each time government will give out incentives like this, it will get to the real beneficiaries. That's why you would hear even the bulk purchase. You hear the target people coming out to say this is the first time that government's incentives is coming to them. And this other time also where you have this palliatives that has been handed out, we've not had any complaint.
Yeah,
that was and I think we need to. This is where we need to have a sense of collective responsibility. While government can roll out certain plans and programs, we as citizens also have a part to play. Because I know, for example, government might not know who is in a certain location. You have a duty as a citizen to say this person is not from my community. When those names were even forward, the register was sent to me, and I said, come on, this people do not.
But is that not why the His Excellency made sure that he had a PA in virtually every ward, which they are called ward governors in every political ward in Akwa Ibom State, to checkmate issues?
Now, the idea of the ward PAs they are the eyes of the governor in the ward. For you to ensure that government programs trickle down to at least your within your own ward. And like in the instance of this social register, I have said, and I was part of it, because I know the ward PA called me and asked me to sit down with him. We sat down and then we were able to work on that to ensure that, and we even reached out to all. There are traditional structures that exist, like the village heads, the family heads, the clan heads. Those are religious institutions and all of that. Those are already made structures that you can readily tap into. To say, okay, the village head of Susu village.
You can use your village as well.
That's for example, Muntanya was handed over to my village head.
Beautiful.
And then he sat down with the family heads to know the real people that should be considered the poorest of the poor and vulnerable. And then this other time that everybody always want to be
poorest of the poor.
Want to be the poorest of let me not use the poorest of the poor.
Everybody
wants to be a beneficiary.
Yes.
But it was in that forum that it was explained that this is not just for not just beneficiary. It is for those who are considered the poorest of the poor. So if you know within yourself that you consider yourself as the poorest of the poor, fine, your name can be there.
President, something happened because with what you've just raised, we talked about the issue of those who are supposed to benefit, not benefiting. I had an interactive session with my own ward governor, and what he told me is that over time people have been browbeaten into not believing government policy. So when he went out there to gather the names of those who he knew were most vulnerable and who have taken considerable advantage of what was happening, they actually did not want to be captured. It was when they now saw the footprints of what was happening, they now ran back to him, and then they now, he was now trying to, capture them. In that situation, you are the president of the apex youth body in Oro and diaspora, as it were. What is your organization doing to make sure that people at that level begin to understand the benefit of government policies and key in immediately without harboring any doubt?
Well, because it is impossible to confuse or bring in people, because every policies of the government, some policies, let me not say every, when government will come in with good initiative like that, like the ones we've had, because these people have always been neglected. These people have always been, not about rejection. These people have always been the things that comes there. But people see it as a means of government telling them lies, because they have been lied to over the years. So when they see things like that coming, for you to convince them that this thing is real is rather impossible until they see it beginning to work. And like the certain governor that we have, differs in so many things than others. Maybe because he's a pastor. So when he comes in with things, people may trust that this one will work. Like others who will talk and they will not do. So people have formed this initiative over a time in their life. So whether you tell them, even when you are persuading them that this thing can work, men and brethren will not hearken unto it. So coming back to, we have tried our best. Like I will use this medium to plead with the government and the state governor. There were people that were not captured. So now that they have discovered that this thing is real, that by the mercy, you should have mercy and compassion as a leader and as a father unto these people, the people that were not really captured, the real people that should benefit from these things that were not captured.
When you say the real people, they are those who were captured. You saying they are not real. Well, hold your thought. If you are just joining us, it's still back with PATRYK EDEKE on Memories 96.5 FM. We're talking about the things that's happening right now in Akwa Ibom as it affects us right now, real time in Akwa Ibom. Remember, this is an interactive session. You can always be part of this conversation when you dial in the number 0803 085 7755. Or alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message on 0809 066 6909. This program is being streamed live on Facebook, Memories 965 FM. Don't put a dot in between and then you watch us. I'm privileged to have the special assistant to the governor on me here in the house. I don't want to call him Dr. Manam, but am I letting the cat out of the bag? All right, Mr. Madam Hillary here, and I'm also privileged to have the president of the Apex Youth Body of Oro, Ezunubaro, Ola Bright Solution, even though he's a pastor and he's trying to play that down. Now, coming back, I think we've the president was saying he's pleading to the governor. I think we should talk to the ward governor, because the ward governors, that is why they are there. They are an interface between you and the governor. Whatever you tell them, these people have unhindered, unfettered access to His Excellency. So when you talk to the ward governors, I will advise that you as the president of the Zone I will advise you as a Zone to work with the ward governors. They will take you straight to the president, the message straight to the governor as well. That being said, let's come back home. Over the weekend, we had the People's Democratic Party ward congresses across the state, as it were. I was very particular in saying the People's Democratic Party. I almost wanted to say the Akwa State Ward Congress, as it were. Well, thank God for professionalism. Now, it cut across the entire state, and why I wasn't really scared about using the word Akwa State Ward Congress was that even some of my friends, my brothers, my sisters who are in other political parties were so keen about this ward congresses that they even partook in it on social media and everywhere. So how did it go? Social assistant to the governor, how did it go in your locality?
Okay, first
in your ward particularly.
Okay, I know I need to start from the fact that I was actually part of the monitoring team, but I also went to my ward in the process, and it was peaceful. I'd like to say here that what makes everybody want to look at what the PDP is doing is because we're a reference point in terms of performance, in terms of unity, in terms of coordination. The People's Democratic Party is a very organized party. That is the only party where you see they roll out scheduled activities and then they keep to it, and you can see where the process is dovetailing. No way one person will sit down to detect somewhere of how it should be. We're aware of the fact that as a result of the resolution of the Kwara State House of Assembly to conduct elections into the local government councils and that of councillorship seats, it is incumbent on the party to institute its processes on, whether by way of electing and mind you that the election of the ward ESCOs was because of the expiration of the outgoing. There was a caretaker at some point where they needed to extend for about 3 months, and ultimately the World Congresses held over the weekend across the country. So that of my ward was very peaceful. We had the ward chairman elected, and all the locations we visited in Abak, in Itumekbo, and in Ika. The process was more of like a family meeting where people come sit down. You won't hear of fracas like other political parties where people are beaten to stupor and all of that. That's one point. The other point I need to mention here is the fact that I think it bears credence to the fact that the PDP is also very deliberate in its leadership recruitment process of trying up the best and people who are popular to man the affairs of the party at the grassroots level.
President, this particular because you are apolitical, because you are the president of the Zone worldwide, the apex body of body, so you must be apolitical, and whatever happens in any political party that has a direct relations with your people, you must be brief. Now, in your brief, because when you were being debriefed or briefed, whichever one is applicable, what was your take on the just concluded World Congress by the PDP in Oral Nation, and particularly with that in Oral Nation?
Okay, but I was away getting into those 3 states during the time that the events happened. But let me commend the governor of Akwa State for doing what he's doing. Right from the time of selecting or choosing the candidates, what do you call it? The party flag bearers and the councillors, you can really see that power have really returned to the people. No more the times of crisis, the times of sitting down in review, writing people's names are over. So I said again, whether it's because he's a pastor, and two, maybe he has seen these things over the years and he has come in to correct some things. So I really commend him for that. And a time like this is always a time that after the Congress, you will meet a lot of casualties and the people in the hospital. So this time, things like that didn't happen. Just like my brother said, it was more like a family meeting, as I've heard. And the people that ought to have been there were chosen or selected or elected to be there. And you see, one thing that has also happened during the course of this weekend, talking about our people in Oro, the 5 local government chairmen. And remember, the time I came, 2 weeks ago or last month, when I came here, I told us that it's not about having the autonomy for the local government, that my only fear is the managers of those funds that will come. And so when you now see the parade of the people in all local government from the PDP bloc, I'm talking about a friend in Odonwoko, what's his name? We used to call him called
I think I will have to ask you not to mention anybody's name here because it will amount to publicity, which they are yet to pay. You know, Sharon just looked at me now. I want Sharon to kick me out of this studio. So let me know. No name should be mentioned, please.
But you see, so like
in my local government, enter the studio, please.
In my local government, in particular, there have been, there were factions. There were factions, about 3-4 factions. Now, after they mentioned the person that was, nominated, everywhere was calm. So let me appreciate once again the governor for doing this for making this to happen in Akwa Ibom. It has never been this way. And I also want to use this medium to call on other political parties to do same, so that we can, live in peace with our brothers and sisters. Politics is a game, it's not war.
The special assistant to the governor, Mr. Almanan Hilary, everybody's talking about the peaceful disposition of His Excellency and how he had tactically eradicated wastage, especially when it has to do with finance, because we've had issues where people will just go get their forms and then wait for the party, as it were, to compensate them on the premise that they bought forms and they lost. I think there was a direction from the party that if number one, if the zoning does not favor you, please don't even try buying the form, because nobody's going to compensate you. Nobody's saying don't buy form to actually contest you, but if you're buying form on the premise that you're going to be compensated after all, it's not going to work. So definitely you have to look at the issue of zoning, number one, and number two, you have to look at the issue where the stakeholders will sit together with the people and select or elect whichever one is applicable, the flag bearer of such a thing. Could this have been the reason why you experienced these peaceful congresses, where somebody like you had to drive all through your federal constituency unhindered, as it were?
Now, I think sometime last year I had a conversation that was about broadening our democratic space, and one of the things I did talk about was the style of nomination of certain political parties. In fact, all the political parties. That for me had opened up the space to the point where you have somebody who will purchase nomination form to contest for elections, not because the person wants to win, but because the person knows within himself that I cannot win, but maybe I can use this as a platform for negotiation. So you can have candidates who are contesting to win, some who are contesting to be compensated, some who are contesting that maybe at the post-litigation process they could be patronized.
But is that not a political strategy?
but then those are things so now you narrowing up the process, providing direction, would eliminate unserious candidates or unserious aspirants, and ensure that it is people, the right persons who should be there, that should be there. And also, in terms of direction and, like you said, eliminating wastage within the system. That's one side. But most importantly, for the very first time that, and for me, I think our politics has changed. The governor has identified and knows very well that our politics has changed. The power has really returned back to the people. So he's been very inclusive since he came on board. He's been looking for ways of taking back power to the people since he came on board. And so in this very process, they're saying, go back to your various localities. One, if you are favored by zoning or within the environment that zoning captures, let the stakeholders, let everybody in the local government sit down and choose one person who is more competent. The truth is that in our day-to-day endeavor, we know who is more competent than what, without prejudice to anybody. The reality is the fact that there are people I can send to take this phone to Plaza. There are people I can send to take this phone to Tumebo. I must be able to trust the competence of the person who I'm handing this phone over to. So now within that, that's given, instead of the governor would have said, okay, let me sit down in you and choose anybody I want, and nobody will really question him. Really, nobody will question him really. But he has said, let the people decide who should lead them, because by that way you are making the people to own the process. They know that if this person succeeds, it's a collective success. If the person also fails, it's a collective failure.
Alright, if you're just joining us, it's still Backpass with PATRYK EDEKE on Memories 96.5 FM. My name is PATRYK EDEKE. Remember, like I said earlier at the beginning of this program, it is an interaction section, so you can always be part of the conversation by dialing the number 0803 085 7755, or you alternatively you can send us a WhatsApp message on 0809 066 6909. Remember, this program is still live stream on Facebook on our Facebook handle Memories 965 FM. You can drop your comments there. We'll read them out loud here. I think we have a call. Hello, good morning. Please walk away from your radio set with the whole bag. Is not enough. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Good morning.
Isaac, go ahead.
Okay. I really connect to
Oh, Isaac, the networks are not favorable to you. I'm sorry, Isaac. You can call back, and when you do call back, please make sure you walk away from your radio set. The whole bag is not helping us as it were. Now, we're talking about the zoning issue. President, this is for you. Some people have complained that some pseudo zoning came up as a result of the fact that His Excellency had given a direction that zoning should favor. So people naturally make sure that they fall into that zone. Did you get any kind of reports like that?
Pat, I think that is something that we have not touched. You talked about before we come into the zoning, you talked about the fuel increase at the time.
We're going to come there. We're going to come there. Yeah, maybe as your parting shot, but let's not discomplicate the discussion. So the zoning thing I was talking about. So people have complained that since His Excellency gave that direction of zoning, they have made themselves fall into that zone where they were not part of that zone. Automatically they make sure they fall into that zone and qualify to stand for. But before that, hold your thought. We've got a call. Hello, good morning. Okay, Isaac, nice to have you. Yeah, we have another call, right? So aside the zoning things, people are complaining about particularly, although we're not going to mention anybody's name here, Isaac just called from a referable, and his concern is that the flag bearer that the stakeholders had chosen is somebody that was in the state. And apparently you are also from that local government. So this is of almost importance in looking to you. What is your take on what Isaac just said?
Well, Isaac, everybody is entitled to their opinion, but I also know that when you want to send somebody to somewhere, like my brother talked about the phone, send somebody with experience. So when we talk about the man that we talked about, he's been everything. So I also know that the volume of money that will be coming into the local government this time needs somebody with that experience, and there's somebody who is not greedy, and there's somebody who can use that money for the development of that local government. So having him come on board is a good thing. And don't also forget that, like I said, we had 4 factions or 5 in my local government. After his name was mentioned, you can bear with me that there was peace, and there's still peace today. But everybody is entitled to their own opinion to complain. I'm talking about the ward issue and the selection process that you have just asked. In life, Patrick, there's nothing you will do without complaints. if you like, give people money every day. When they leave that place after collecting your money, they will ask, why is he giving us money every day? So even though we have those pockets of complaint,
hold your thought there. I think we've got a call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. And the network are not they are not friendly, and I don't want to call any particular network provider, but we've had some not too pleasant scenarios over like in the past 2 or 3 days. So go back, please, President.
Also, even though we have those skirmishes of or pockets of complaint from people,
please hold your thought. Hello, good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling us from. From where, please? Okay, go ahead, please. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. The special assistant to the governor of media is here, so he will convey that message. Now, back to you, the president, please. You were saying something.
Complaint, yes, but what are the basis of this complaint? And the people that have fallen themselves into the zones that have been zoned into, like chairmanship or the councillors, people will never cease of them, from behaving like the Zacchaeus before the Matthew.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling us from. Emmanuel from Uyo. Hello. The network is giving us a lot of issue.
So in life, you have all those people with the character of the Zacchaeus I talked about before coming to be redeemed, Matthew, the tax collector, because it is in human nature. But when the right people will focus their intentions and their attention to select the chaff from the real, I think, let me quote my brother again, we will have the right people from particular locations that will be able to do what we need them to do, not what they want to do for us.
The special assistant to the governor, I want to put this question to you because the other people have a pattern. They say in oral language, now what it literally means is that anything that has to do with tree climbing, you allow the monkeys and the apes to do it. Anything that has to do with something on the floor, the tortoise and whatever. Now I'm still putting the same question to you. Do you think that anybody leaving the state executive council to be the chairman of a local government with the responsibilities that is coming is something auri?
First, I want to say my own in a local parliament. In an hour, they were okay. It's a who could make that's what they call it. So you need to look at somebody's legs to know if the person will be capable to know how to mix mud.
That's correct.
That's so it means that it's a task that is serious.
Yes.
The truth and reality, I think a lot of persons were carried away with emotions when the Supreme Court gave that judgment. Although I have my personal reservations that it is not in line with our constitution, but nonetheless, when you have the apex court giving a policy direction like that, we have no choice than to follow, than to follow suit. But the implication of that judgment is that the people who are asking to man the various local governments must be people who are competent and experienced. Why am I saying that? What even led to the issue of let me use the word abrogation of local government financial autonomy was the fact that a lot of local governments were owing money. You have salaries not paid.
I've said that before.
Pensions not paid, gratuities not paid. So the state, and because of the complaint and incessant strikes at that level, the state government had to come to rescue. So for us not to have and go back to that old age, we need people, I mean managers, people who are good managers of resources, good managers of humans, so that we can be able to pull up, because I did say a funny scenario. For example, you have local governments who earn more from the allocation than some other local government. And then when you have instances like that, go to Eastern Obolo, for example, being an oil-producing area, I know that the allocation might be high. But in terms of workforce, because nobody wants to leave you and go to Eastern Obolo to work. Everybody wants, there is a concentration of workers in the urban centers. So you need local government chairmen who, beside receiving allocation, will be ingenious enough to know what other avenues can I explore to generate revenue, so that I can pay salaries, I can pay gratuity, I can pay pension. And then not just that, you must build and manage local, or I say, let me not use the word local, primary infrastructures, like primary healthcare centers, primary schools. Those were initially within the preserve, the purviews of the local government chairman. And now, for me, like you heard what the chairman of the NGF forum had said, that it is a relief on governors who have been shouldering the responsibilities of local government councils over the years. And so if you're taking that away from them, for them they consider it as relief. So it's not really about doing them good. So nobody, I don't think the elders and stakeholders, without prejudice to what the person just said, I'm aware it is not only Ref from Roko that has that scenario. We also have the serving commissioner for labor and productivity is a consensus candidate of the stakeholders, because they have looked and seen that he's a person who is competent enough to man the seat. So it is not about the previous offices. I did say that in civilized climes, you have people who stay in offices for 20 years, for 25 years, for 30 years. It's not about the number of years. For me, it is about your contributions to the process. What are you able to do when given the privilege? That's essentially, for me, is very, very important.
So in hindsight,
I see nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong
Let me
with
comment
it.
there.
Yes.
It was MKO Abiola that said that you need to bring a big man into a small office for him to make the office large. But in the other sense, he even told us that being a local government chairman is a small thing. When you look at the tiers of government in this country, you have the federal, you have the states, and you have the local. So if the government is settled down and they are trying to build up places, that power must really go back to the local people. And then you need somebody who is competent enough, who is capable enough to manage what is coming in there. Not only the resources, human resources also. Now, when we now begin to look at the local government as one of those small places that is a dumping ground for all, and that is the problem we are having in our locality, I mean the Oro nation as a whole. When you come to Ibibio and see the parade of their local, their councillors, and you go back to our people, and they will take one small girl or one small boy from somewhere who has just finished school or who has just finished 1136 to come and be councillor. That person is inexperienced. He has nothing to offer. And at the end of the day, whether monies are paid, all he knows that he has to build a house, he has to buy a car, he has to sleep in hotels and put hotel key in their pocket, not minding who sent them into those places.
But those are mere speculations.
I'm from there now. Patrick,
President, hold your thought.
I'm not generalizing you.
I'm going to give you.
I'm going to give you
the time to cover. But those are mere speculations, and those are opinions of the president of Ezun Lubaro, not the opinions of Memories 90.6 Patrick, go ahead.
Let me come in here. We must get to a point where we can build a consensus that people who should be local government chairmen and councillors. I'm going to say this: the local government councils are no longer a leaning ground, no longer a dump site. Because yes, you ask for financial autonomy. If I'm going to give you the money,
yes,
pay directly to your account. But who manages the resources? Who manages the money?
Some people can also
In
argue,
those days,
some
my
people can
brother.
also argue before you go in there, Pastor Enquiry Abiola, to further say put that what you said in the right perspective is that when you put a small man in a big office, he will make the office small. When you put a big man in a small office, he will make the office big. Now, but some people can also argue. This is a question for you, not actually for him, but he made the statement. Some people can also argue that some governors had mismanaged funds, and then nobody came to flog them. For instance, there are states that still were owing salaries, even in the last administration. Some people can also argue that why their attention on local government and all whatnot.
But let's go back. The man who built the stadium, the one we have in Oron, who was he? The local government chairman. Now, why is it that after his tenure, it was not even called chairman. It was called sole administrator.
Yes.
That time, and he was able to build the stadium. After that time, who has beat that record? Does it mean that money has not been coming into the system
They
again?
could argue that they've not been having money, they've not been having autonomy to their money. They could also
The
argue
governor
that.
has challenged to say, let any local government chairman come out.
No, but this is the new administration.
No, he's even saying that in past administrations.
No traditional chairman of local government administration.
Let me also come in there. Let me also come in there.
Even grapevine information
You
that
say there
there's
is no
not been
money.
money.
Yes, governor has not been giving them money. Good. Let's take it like that. But when you came in, you didn't have a house. When you came in, you didn't have a car. When you came in, you didn't have the things that we see you flying around with every day. Well, who are you going to deceive?
But the government gave them official cars. I don't know about the official housing, and I don't know whether they have a housing allowance. But I know that the governors give them official cars that they are entitled to.
Let me also quote.
That could be the car that maybe you're seeing.
It was the Right Honorable Nephew Agbanliu that said, if you say government is not good, government is not sending anything to you, why are you there? And we are seeing the manifestation of the money that you claim that.
Are you not saying? Let's say this is for you. Is he now saying that you are there because of what his government is giving you? I don't get it.
Well, the governor first of all has a prerogative to appoint anybody he deems fit.
I'm not talking about you. There's this panel, this quote just quoted one of my friend about saying you know. So, now, are you now saying?
Let me say this.
Are you now saying that every chairman or every councillor, every person that aspires to be chairman or councillor to serve his people is actually going there because
okay, I think maybe you're trying to. I'm live with the student now.
No, yes, I must be the devil's advocate. There are people to us here.
What is leadership? It is the people employing you to come and serve them. And so when we employ you to serve us, we're also using our resources, to empower you to make sure that at least you have the wherewithal to even offer the service. What am I talking about? You receive salaries and allowances. Talk about local government chairman, you get cars and all of that, get a lot of stipends and all of that. So those provisions are there. So there is no global government chairman can say, like the governor had challenged in successive administrations, that no local government chairman will say that they were not enjoying financial autonomy. That's the truth.
Yeah, this administration, the governor has come out to say that.
I'm saying that this administration, the governor was emphatic to say he's challenging not just in his administration, but in other successive administrations. Anybody who said he did not enjoy financial autonomy.
Wow.
He should have resigned.
No, so I mean, a whole lot of people are listening right now. So next time,
some transition chairman.
So next time, when the chairman are saying they are not having money, so from what His Excellency had said, and he has challenged anybody to come with a contradictory claims.
Nobody has done that.
Yeah, it means these people have been misinforming us.
Yes, look at the records of some transition chairmen. Some of them have done a whole lot. And I want to also employ the governor also. Now that there is autonomy does not mean that we should overlook. The governor came out with something. The governor and the government came out with something. All those transition chairmen, let those people that were assigned or chosen to go there, go and find out what they have done over the months that they have been there.
Oh, the scorecard. So
I also want those same thing to happen for the three years that is to come.
Yeah, that calls to question. Special Assistant to the Governor, Mr. Amana, where does the state government comes in here? government, because if the autonomy comes in as it's coming, who supervises the local government? That's
That
it's going
is
to be a double thrown question. Now, do the local government chairmen enjoy immunity, the legal immunity that the president and the governors are enjoying?
Now that is where
While they are in office.
that is where I was. I said I have my reservations about the judgment, because our model of democracy is copied after the United States. If you look at the county councils, what do you call it, county councils, or the local areas, it is under the supervision of the administration of the states. Why does that happen? So that there can be checks and balances. It's why you give money down to the county or the local government areas as it is here, and then there is no monitoring. It means that the chairman can just get the allocation, go to sleep, and then you stay somewhere.
Like it's been done before.
So now the states have a duty to play in ensuring that there are checks and balances, and that there is that there is the issue of competence and performance is emphasized.
Lastly, before we go, because as it stands, time is respect. If local government chairman, President, this is for you. If local government chairman, I know you're not a lawyer, but this is a practical issue. If local government chairman are not going to enjoy immunity while in office, don't you see a situation where probably they will virtually live all their days in the court because of litigation that will coming from different aspects of different people, different angles, different directions?
Well, just like we have heard that the ruling still have some silent issues that is yet to be talked about. But let us not forget that every local government is inside a state, and every state is inside a country.
Thank you so much, Pastor. I'm going to use Pastor at this particular time. I started with Ula, but I'm going to end it with Pastor Bright Solution. He is a pastor, and he's also the president of Zungbaro. President of Zungbaro, which is the apex body of the Oro Youth worldwide, as it were. It's also a privilege and a special thanks to the special assistant to the governor of media, Mr. Amanambo Hilary. It's nice to have you all here in the studio with me. We cannot exhaust this discussion. It's one that I'm having private messages on my phone about the issue, and I'm directing them to send it to the studio's platform, as it were. Thank you so much for having you guys here. Now, if you're still listening to us, it was Black Past with PATRYK EDEKE on 96.5 FM here, Memories FM. My name is PATRYK EDEKE, and until we come your way again next week with another exciting expose on what is happening here in Akwa Ibom State, in Nigeria, and the world in diaspora, it is me signing out. Sharon, Sharon is still here. Hello, Sharon. Can I still say happy belated birthday? And don't forget, the president is still around with your bread from his journey.
Mr. Patrick, you have your intentions, you have an agenda. Why do you keep reminding me?
Autonomy.
Alright, it's been Back Pass with PATRYK EDEKE. Thank you so much for listening. Coming up at the top of the hour is the global news at midday, of course. My name is Sharon Mandoa. I'll be back again in the studio tomorrow for the morning ride. Do also stay tuned to this dial. Memory is 96.5 FM. Have a